Hello, 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 and welcome again to another episode of Your Life with Yolanda, where you will be empowered, you will be encouraged, and you will be educated. And this is episode number 4, and today I have some amazing special guests with me today. I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss this. This is going to be phenomenal. So get your cup of coffee, get your tea, get ready, because you're going to not want to miss this show. Episode 4 is on the way. So today is episode number 4, and I told you that I had 2 amazing guests with me today. 2 amazing guests. I have today with me none other than Charles Jr. and Shanna Patrice in the house with me. Welcome to Your Life with Yolanda.
Hey,
how are you all?
So this is going to be a good show, y'all. I'm so thankful that you all agreed and decided to come on my show today, because I really wanted to give you all an opportunity to just kind of share your life from your perspective as a PK. And for many of you who may not know what a PK is a pastor's kid, or preacher's kid as we know it to be. And I'm thankful that I get you guys on here with me today. You all are like the two of the most important people in my life. And being your mom is one of my most special gifts. So thank you again for being on my show. I'm excited. So again, I want to talk about the life of a PK, because I know that there are a lot of PKs who are probably going to be watching this, past, present, maybe future. And a lot of times there's so many misconceptions of what the life of being a preacher's kid, pastor kid is like. And I wanted to ask you both, you both are, different ages. CJ, call him CJ. CJ, you're 22. Shanna, you're 16. So of course it varies in how your perspective is growing up as a PK. But I wanted to ask you guys, what are some of the misconceptions of being a pastor's kid is?
I think one of the main things that is a misconception is, for whatever reason, a lot of people think if you're a PK, like all you do is church. All you talk about is church. Mm-hmm. All you do is like a Bible, just gonna be sitting here, and that's all we do 24 hours a day. Wake up, get straight in the Word, and just sit there all day. Yeah. Don't watch TV, don't do anything, don't go out anywhere.
Right.
Don't have a life.
Right.
So that's most people, that's what most people think PKs are, just robots, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So Shanna, what would you say are some of the misconceptions of being a PK?
For me, I know a lot of people say that, assume that pastors' kids are like the worst behaved kids, like the worst out of the group, they don't behave. But I think that is not true.
Yes.
It does not matter what your parents do. It just, we don't behave that bad. Like, we're normal people.
Yeah, and I'd have to say y'all are pretty cool, good kids. Not perfect, nobody's perfect, but just pretty normal kids, which is interesting. So I want to get back to what you said, Charles. You said that a lot of times people think that as a pastor's kid or a preacher's kid that you don't have a life outside of the church. Right. And they think that, all we do is maybe sit around and pray all day and read the Bible all day, or we force you guys to go to church and do things like that. Of course, you're an adult, so your perspective is different. We don't force you or, to do anything. Why do you think, or why do you choose to, you grew up in church, of course, but why do you choose to continue to go to church on your own?
Well, for one, I actually do believe God is real.
Okay.
And I think I should go to church for that reason mainly. And secondly, the church I go to, I feel like I'm in an atmosphere where I'm free. Okay. It's not one of those things where you can't not wear what you want to wear. Uh-huh. I can wear the same thing in church, or I can fit in, where I just fit in. So, yeah, that's pretty much why. And another reason would just be honoring God. He's always there for me when I need him. So that's why I always go to church. It's just not something that I just grew up and was just taught to do and just do because of routine, but it's actually something I want to go to church. Like, I do want to be there when I go. So
yeah, that's good. Now, Shanna, you mentioned something earlier about people thinking that a pastor's kid is like the worst. Like they're always in trouble, they're always getting into stuff, that kind of thing. But do you feel on the flip side that people think that pastors' kids have to live this perfect life?
I definitely do. Being a pastor's kid, there's always somebody's eyes on you. Like you feel like they think you can do no wrong. Because they of course, talk behind our back. Like, oh, the pastor's kid did this, she did that. Oh, she came to church with an attitude today. Like, I'm still a regular person. I have my moods and stuff, but I feel like sometimes it kind of chokes me around the neck because I can't it's always somebody looking at me or saying what I do or something like that.
Right, or they're expecting you to be a certain way.
Like perfect.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you said that. Do you feel like you get that more from maybe your peers or maybe from older people?
Definitely older people.
Okay.
I feel like my peers understand me, get that I'm a normal teenager, but older people think, I don't know, because I've had people come up to me and tell me things.
Yeah, that's really, really interesting. So what about you, Charles? Do you think, even from the perspective of your parents, me, your dad is a pastor, he's a senior pastor, folks know him in the community. I work in ministry, both of us work in ministry. Do you guys feel like, especially you, CJ, that people pressure or they say, just because your dad is a pastor, they think you're automatically going to be a pastor or you're automatically going to work, you know what I mean? You're going to do something in the church, or that sort of thing, not knowing maybe you have your own gifts and own talents and own interests. So how do you feel about that, and how do you deal with that perspective?
Well, it's kind of something you get used to, but I do hear that all the time. Oh boy, I know you're going to take over the church when your dad retires. Oh, when you gonna start preaching or something like that. It's not something where they really say, oh, when are you gonna start working with computers? Because that's what I see you do. Or when are you gonna start, doing other things you enjoy? Why don't you become an NBA analyst or something like that instead of? So yeah, I definitely have that all the time where people come to me and say, oh, we know you're gonna be the next pastor. You're gonna take over the church, this and that. So yeah, all the time. And just to piggyback on what Shanna said, yes, you are expected to live a perfect life.
Wow.
As a PK, but I just feel like your best option when you feel that pressure is just to kind of try to ignore it.
Okay.
And just stay focused, and like you said, we're not perfect.
Right.
We're just people, so yeah.
But let's get real a little bit. Let's get a little bit deeper. Do you feel like your parents and we can be real with each other, right? Do you feel like we expect you guys to be perfect or to live this perfect life, or you know what I mean? Just because we're pastors, your dad is a pastor, that we just expect y'all to not make any mistakes. What do y'all feel about from just our perspective?
I can go.
Okay.
I know y'all don't expect us to be perfect, but y'all have super high expectations.
Okay.
Because there's potential in us.
Okay.
It's not perfect, but it's it's up there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's a great honest opinion, and that's interesting. What do you say about that? See?
I don't think you all expect us to be perfect. I think it's based off what we've been taught.
Okay.
We've been taught certain things that shouldn't happen,
right?
Things like that. So in your mind, you can kind of be scared to make a mistake.
Okay.
Kind of scared that something could go wrong, and
yeah.
not know how things would be reacted to and things like that. So I'm not saying that I'm scared to make a mistake or something like that. I'm just saying that you can,
right?
Sometimes with expectations. So I feel like you all have a good balance with what you expect of us, but what you teach us and tell us. So, but yeah, definitely.
Right. And then even taking it to point, I know that we are learning too. We even as parents and parents who are or who have pastors' kids or parents who have kids and we're pastors and preachers. There are things that we have to navigate through as well. So it's kind of like on the job training. And I guess you were more of the test tube baby, CJ. Because I think we were a little bit more relaxed with Shanna probably than we were with you. Which is really interesting. But speaking of that, do y'all as a pastor's kid, and you talked about earlier, we don't just sit around and pray all day and do this and that. What about fun? Like what is our life? What do you guys do in your life? What do you do? Do we have a regular life? Do we have a not so regular life? you still get to have fun? Do you make your own choices as an adult? You know, you're still a minor, you're 16, but you're going to be out of here in a couple of years, right? Mm-hmm. So what about like just our regular life? What do we do? What do you guys do?
Oh, live a regular life. The same thing everyone else pretty much does. I go out, mm-hmm. I hang out with people. Mm-hmm. Shanna goes out, she hangs out with people. We go to the mall, we mm-hmm. do regular things. We listen to different types of music. Mm-hmm. Gospel music isn't the only music in our playlist.
Okay, for real? Whoa, I'm shocked.
so okay. We do other things. We just do regular things. I mean, I think sometimes, like, for example, I'm not a type of person who curses a lot. I don't curse at all.
Right.
But sometimes people think that that's a decision I made based off what you all said. Mm. That's just not something I choose to do. I just choose to kind of go down a different path because I don't feel like I need to use those words. Right. So, I feel like we live a regular life, mm-hmm. and sometimes things you don't do, there's a misconception that you don't do them because, your parents said this and that, and your parents did, you'll get in trouble, boy. So, things like that. But it's just something that I don't do just because I don't feel the need to. Right. I don't, so.
Right. And what about like even just our relationship? Because I know we get on each other's nerves, as a family. You guys are siblings, you bicker, you have your normal sibling stuff. I'm sure that there are times we get on you guys' nerves as well. So, just the whole normal family type stuff that maybe I don't know, I don't want to speak for you guys, but from your perspective that just regular folks, just regular people doing regular things and that sort of thing. So what about like friends? Do you guys feel like maybe not friends who actually attend your church, but friends outside of the church? Do you all feel like they get you, or they sort of feel like, your dad is Pastor so and so you gotta? How do you all feel? How do you deal with your friends outside of church? How's your relationship with them?
For me, it's good because, like, some of my friends don't even know, like, y'all are pastors. Like, I didn't even bring it up because, there's no need to, really. Mm-hmm. No need to bring it up if, like, the conversations are flowing, Mm-hmm. But, on the other hand, like, I have had some friendships where, like, I guess you could say I was treated differently because people knew you guys were pastors. So.
Interesting. What about you, C?
I hate to say this, but I feel like sometimes, and this is not all of my friends, it's actually friends that I don't have anymore this happened with, but I feel like sometimes I was treated better outside of the church with friends than I was with friends in the church. And the reason being because people knew I was a pastor, so they thought as if...
Pastor's kid.
Well, pastor's kid.
Straighten that up.
But they knew I was a PK, so basically they said, here CJ comes, let me not do this. Mm-hmm. Here CJ is, let me change this. And it was always, let me make sure that I act perfect around him, because it almost seemed like I'm God or something like that. So, but I'm just a regular person. I'm a chill person. I just do regular things regular people do.
You are chill.
So I have one of my friends who I went to school with, and he just was chill with me. He treated me like a regular person. Mm-hmm. And, we just talked about sports, talked about shoes, things like that, and had no problems. Yeah. But then there was certain people inside of, I won't even say at church, mm-hmm. at my church, per se, just inside of the church community that said, that's Pastor so-and-so, don't do that around him. Like, it was crazy. One day I was working, mm-hmm. and this guy came in here, and he was cursing. Mm-hmm. And this other boy said, that's Pastor so-and-so kid. Don't talk like that around him. I'm like you're
God or something.
Right. So yeah, I don't have that issue with friends outside of the church as much as I did in. But mm-hmm. now with all the current friends I do have, we don't have those issues. Everything's good. So
that's so interesting, because I think pastors' kids and preachers' kids get the least amount of props. Do you all feel like sometimes you're in the shadow of your dad, or I would say more so your dad than myself, but maybe in the shadow of us, where you have to, because your dad does a whole lot, because, he's a lot of people know him and that sort of thing, that you just kind of like in the shadow and you have to kind of find your way. How do y'all feel about that?
Yeah, I think sometimes like you can be in the shadow. Like it doesn't happen to me a lot. I know for CJ it happens. Like people always call him Pastor Roberson's son. Like Pastor Roberson's this. Like we have our own names. Like
And then he has the same name as his dad, which
Yeah.
makes it
Yeah.
right.
we have our own names. Like we have our own things we do.
Right.
Like what we want to do in like life. Don't get me wrong. I love church. Like I love going to church. But I definitely do like have my own path. Like career path. I want to do like yeah.
So speaking of career path, what are some of the things you do like to do and that sort of thing? Like what's some of your passions?
Well, I know right now when I go to college to study, will study to be a pediatric physical therapist. But yeah.
So you mean to tell me you're not gonna be the next pastor of Kingdom Life?
Most likely no.
I love it. I love it. So and I think you're right, Shanna. I think more so for CJ because he has his dad's name and because he's older and he's a guy, people probably put more pressure on him. But what are like your passions? Like what do you like to do? Just regular folks, just regular time.
One of my favorite things to do probably would be listening to music. I love listening to music. Sometimes I go on YouTube and I'll find just live bands that just play different music, and I'm just a big music fan. I love playing basketball, love watching basketball, also love working with computers. I just sometimes come up with different concepts of videos and things like that, and those are things I love to do. And that's another thing too. I know this might be off subject,
No, go
but at the church, even though we were talking about being in their shadow, I still want to be a part of the church always. I still want to work at the church. I still want to make sure the church is always progressing, always going higher. But I don't necessarily want to be the next pastor. So basically what I'm saying is I want to make sure everything's always taken care of at the church.
Wow.
But I just don't want to be the pastor.
Right.
So that'll never change. That's just not something I'm looking forward to do.
Since you mentioned that, do you guys feel like you've been forced to work in ministry? I know, Shanna, you've danced since you've been a little girl, and you work in dance ministry, nursery, and did some other things in ministry. Of course, you're the computer guy, media guy, CJ. But do you all feel like there's pressure even from us or others that you just gotta do stuff in church?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
Like a little bit of pressure, but I know like y'all like give us like opportunities. Y'all can work in whatever ministry you want to, but I know sometimes like just make sure you do something. Like make sure you're involved.
Right.
So it could be a little bit of pressure sometimes, but like it's not as much. Like it's not that much where I want to go cry in a corner or anything like that. So
That's good. That's good. What about you?
I actually don't feel any pressure.
Okay.
Because and the main reason being for me specifically, I love working with computers. So I work in the media department. So I didn't feel pressure. I was actually glad because working in the media department gave me a lot of opportunities I have today. Helped me learn a lot, helped me grow in my craft and different things I do. So I really enjoy what I do, so I don't feel forced at all. Like I'm always glad when I get the time and the chance to do it, believe it or not. So.
That's really good. This is a couple more questions I want to ask you all. Now, of course, we have friends, and a couple of their kids are, of course, pastors' kids as well. Of course, your guys' sisters, the PK as well. When you guys get together with them, do you all feel a sense of like, whew, somebody gets me, or do you feel like, no big deal? How do y'all feel about that when you get with other like-minded PKs?
most definitely, I feel like someone else gets me. I know I'm not the only one like on this road because it can be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like they get me because they're in the same steps as me.
Right, and they're fashionable, and all cute and all, and that kind of thing. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. I know one person I won't mention specifically that I feel like it understands exactly how I feel about being a PK.
Wow.
And things like that, and just being a little different and things like that. So yeah, definitely they understand you.
Interesting. So lastly, let me ask you this: what is it that you think people can improve on or understand better about you guys being a PK, and also what is it that a PK's parents or grandparent, if they have a grandparent who's a pastor or something, what can they do better to understand the perspective of being in your shoes?
I would just say don't be so hard on us. Like, we're normal. Like, we have normal lives. Don't be so hard on us. Don't be so quick to judge us. Because people are really quick to judge you when you're a pastor's kid. Like, as soon as you do something, like, they're going to talk behind your back. Like, they're so quick to judge you. But I think you should just, I don't know, just like take into account, like, we're human too.
That's good.
I just think we should get a chance to fit in. You know, I feel like there's a lot of times. Well, maybe for me just specifically where certain areas I couldn't fit in, certain people I couldn't go hang out with because of certain things they did and this and that. I just think we should get more of a chance to just fit in and just be looked at as regular. I just want people to know we're regular people and we're cool. We're not gonna judge you. We're not gonna this and that. We're not gonna say this and that. Just go because everybody thinks we're just gonna run back to the past and this and that. I mean, it's not. It doesn't always happen.
Right.
Sometimes we see things and we don't say anything.
That's true.
And in all honesty, the pastors aren't always worried about everything.
Right.
It's okay. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does everything. So we just want to fit in. We just want to be treated regular as people. But yeah.
Wow. This has been so enlightening for me, and I believe that who's ever going to watch this, maybe they're a member of a church, or maybe they're not a PK, but maybe they have a different perspective on how they may treat their pastor's kids, or maybe there is a PK who's going to watch this, and I think they're going to be inspired to know that just regular folks, y'all. We just regular peeps. You guys are regular people. I do want to say that you guys are phenomenal kids, young adults, and we just appreciate y'all just for being who you are. I wouldn't change it one bit, and I'm so thankful that you guys decided to be on the show. It wasn't forced. I asked and they said yes, and I'm just so thankful that we get to hear your stories and get to hear your feelings and your thoughts on the life of a PK. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode with Charles Jr. and Shannon Patrice. This was just very insightful. And I hope whoever watches this, if there's another pastor's kid, preacher's kid who watches this, hey, be inspired, man. Be yourself. And everything just works out. So thank you guys for being on Your Life with Yolanda. Peace, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.